Hello, welcome to my channel. We're just going to get another general message from Spirit and see what comes out today. Thank you everyone who's subscribed to my channel. Welcome to everybody who is new. If the video resonates with you, I would love if you would subscribe as well. Please remember these are collective and you can change the gender roles as you need to and only take what resonates for you and your story. King of Cups. Ace of Wands, Two of Cups. I heard nothing's gonna stop me, and I heard mine. Chariot in reverse, Six of Pentacles. I heard no more false starts. King of Pentacles, Judgment. I heard I'm on my way. King of Wands. Ten of Pentacles. I feel like this person had an ego death. I feel like something happened in like the recent past, like maybe past couple weeks or like month or something, something pretty recent. I feel like you might have like made it really clear to this person that you were done, or that you were walking away, or that you are no longer investing in this connection with them. I feel like there was, like, with that ego death energy, I feel like they were being really stubborn, and really, like, just holding on to their pride. Like, for some reason, they didn't want to, I don't know, it's like they didn't want to express how they really felt about you because I heard I'm not supposed to, and I feel like that comes from, like, how they were brought up. Like, I feel like this is the type of person where they were kind of, like, taught not to show their feelings and not to express themselves emotionally, like, kind of be stoic instead of expressive, right? No matter, like, the depth of the feelings they might be feeling at any given time, I feel like they were kind of brought up to not show that. So maybe they had, like, I'm seeing, like, an older man with a mustache, so like a father figure energy, you know what I mean, like an older man kind of energy where kind of not force them, but kind of excuse me, it feels like very strict, the energy that I'm getting from this older man. It's kind of like I'm seeing a military uniform, so maybe that was like their upbringing. They had like a really strict father figure who was in the military and had a very like specific rules of how to behave and how to carry yourself and how to not express yourself, right? So that you're in control all the time. That kind of energy, I feel like that's what this person was raised with. So it's just like a part of their personality, right? But when it comes to you, their emotions, the depth of their emotions, I feel like it's incredibly hard for them to not show that, but I feel like they did. I feel like they withheld that expressiveness from you, which I feel like really hurt you and frustrated you because you could sense that they had these deep emotions and these feelings for you, but they were like holding back, like completely holding back, trying to hold on to that like pride and ego where, you know, I don't express my emotions. It kind of like, I heard brainwashing. Yeah, so it's kind of like that energy of like, that's just what they've always known, right? So they weren't trying to change who they were because they weren't seeing it as necessarily bad, but I feel like they've come to the realization that it is bad. With that ego death energy, I feel like whatever kind of cutoff you gave this person, it really triggered them to be like, oh dang, I'm gonna lose this person. What am I doing? I love them so much. Like, I can't let this happen. I need to ditch my ego. I need to ditch my pride. I need to tell this person how I feel. Here in the King of Cups, Ace of Wands, I feel like they realized the error of their way. Withholding their feelings from you was wrong, right? It was something that was harming this connection. There was no reason for it whatsoever, right? You were being very open and expressive with how you were feeling, and this person was holding back. So you walked away, and I feel like that harsh cutoff energy coming from you really put them in their place, really made them analyze what they were doing and see that it was harming the situation, right? If they really wanted to be with you, which they do, if they really had these deep emotions for you, which they also do, then they were going to have to drop the ego and the pride. And I feel like that's what they did here with the King of Pentacles, King of Wands. I feel like they grounded their energy. They let go of that ego and pride. They realized that it wasn't it wasn't for their highest good to continue that toxic pattern of behavior that they learned growing up, right? They need to come into their King of Cups energy and be emotionally expressive and emotionally available, right? I feel like they realized that the way that they were behaving in the past was keeping them blocked with the Chariot and the Six of Pentacles, the Chariot reverse and the Six of Pentacles. It was a blockage. They weren't allowed to move forward in this connection because they were not balanced, and they realized that to flip this Chariot in the upright and come towards their Ten of Pentacles, which they believe is you, the person that they want to have a future with, that they were going to have to balance their energy, right? They weren't going to only be able to be in their ego and their pride and be able to move forward, right? They had to ground their energy and come into their emotions and realize that that was for their highest good, right? So I feel like that's what's happening here is they had like an ego death because of some kind of harsh cutoff that you gave to this person in the recent past, and I feel like they've come into their heart center here with the King of Cups. They I feel like it's very fresh and very new for this person. This feels like I'm seeing like a little kid when they first try to start to walk and they're super wobbly and they're falling over. That's this kind of energy that this person is in because they're not used to showing their emotions, right? They've grown up with being emotionally closed off and stoic and thinking that that was the right thing to do so that they could be in control, blah blah blah. So this is a very new kind of situation for them. They want to move forward and stay in this King of Cups energy, but I feel like they're kind of that like I'm seeing a baby deer kind of trying to walk. So it's like that wobbly baby deer, right? Trying to take those first steps forward. They're a little bit shaky, but no, there's like that excitement to finally be able to walk. That's what this person's energy is like. It's like a brand new kind of energy, right? They're trying to figure it out. They're trying to get comfortable in it because they want to come forward and tell you and show you that they've made these changes, right? Can I get some more on the King of Cups? Knight of Pentacles. Knight of Cups. The Empress. I heard slow and steady wins the race. So this is the energy of this kind of like wobbly deer energy here. It's like the Knight of Pentacles. It's kind of like a waiting energy or like biding your time, right? Taking your time to come forward. But their goal is to come forward here with this Knight of Cups towards you, with this love offer. But it's kind of like, it feels like baby steps, right? Because they're trying to feel comfortable in this open heart space energy because it's not something that they've ever done. I feel like they've been emotionally closed off like forever, right? Because that's how they grew up with this father figure, I feel like. So they never really were emotionally expressive, but they've had that ego death and they have come into their emotions, they've come into their heart space and they want to be emotionally expressive towards you. But I feel like it might be a little bit fumbly here. But their plan is to come forward in the Knight of Cups. But it's just feeling very new to them and a little bit uncomfortable, right? The Sun. The Strength. I heard nothing's going to stop me. Justice. I heard the time is now. Queen of Wands. Two of Wands. The Tower. Page of Cups, Page of Wands. I feel like alongside this person wanting to come forward and tell you how they feel about you, I feel like there's this really big, it's like this, I'm seeing the words thank you in like giant bubble letters, like written in the sky kind of. There's this energy of, in this Tower and Justice, it's kind of like this freedom element to this because it's like a prison energy, right? You're shut up in a cell. This energy of being in this dynamic where you're kind of like fighting yourself all the time because I feel like this person has a gigantic heart, right? But they learn to close it off. You know what I mean? And so I feel like that inside of them there was always this like war of I want to express myself, but I know I'm not allowed to. I really want to be emotional, but I know I can't, right? So there's this like really back and forth energy of like of a heartache, honestly, because this person wasn't truly expressing themselves, right? They were closing themselves off. So, I feel like when they met you here in this Queen of Wands energy at the beginning of this experience, you were the catalyst for change, right? You broke this wall of stoicism, of being emotionally closed off, right? You broke down the wall here with the Tower, and there's this energy of them just being really thankful because they didn't feel like they could break free. That's why they stayed in that energy for so long as they grew up, right? They thought that it was working for them, but it really wasn't, because they were not being their true self. They were not living in their authenticity from their heart space. But I feel like you forced them to face those walls, right? And with this Tower, you broke down those walls, and now they're in a brand new energy. They're really starting to enjoy feeling their feelings, right? It's new to them. Like I said, there's that like baby deer walking element here, but that's just because it's new, right? It's not that they're scared of it or anything like that. It's just that it's new and they're trying to get comfortable with it, like slowly walking forward in this emotionally available energy, right? Because they want to come towards you here. I feel like there's just this is giving more just like an innocence kind of energy, like brand new, wanting to have conversations, wanting to get to know each other, wanting to say thank you because you broke down their walls, right? I feel like they were so stubborn in the beginning of this because it's all they knew, right? That was their comfort zone, and it's hard to get out of a comfort zone. But losing you in this harsh cutoff energy, I feel like that was the final straw of breaking them out of that comfort zone prison. They didn't want to lose you, and so they knew the only way to be able to be with you is to break down their walls and to be emotionally available and to come forward and tell you how they feel, right? So I feel like that was the thing that was like the straw that broke the camel's back. Gosh, I can't talk. The straw that broke the camel's back, right? You walking away, you harshly cutting them off because you couldn't do this anymore because they were refusing to be emotionally available. That was what they needed here, and now they're ready to come forward and show you that they've broken down their walls, that they're living from an open heart space here, and they're really grateful that you were able to do that for them and help guide them through that, right? Because they pull on your energy to kind of like stabilize themselves, right? When they think about you, it's kind of an energy of like, so what I'm seeing is like there's one single person in this center area, right? And there's like this it's almost like a tornado around them, and it's very stressful. And so it's kind of like a meditation energy when they get super overwhelmed with their environment, or something is happening that they feel out of control. I feel like they pull on your energy and just think about you, because it calms them down. It gives them peace. It fills their heart with love and joy, right? So it's kind of like a meditative thing that they do, where when they're feeling overwhelmed, they pull on your energy. And so that's kind of like how they think of it, is like you guided them through this chaos of getting out of their comfort zone and being emotionally available. Even if you didn't know that you did that, that's kind of, it was like a tool for them to stay grounded, and kind of like remember what the goal was, right? Like to move through the chaos, and on the other side of that chaos was going to be this beautiful love energy that radiates from you, is where they wanted to go to, right? So they used your energy as a guide here, even if you don't know that's what they were doing. That you were like their peace in all the chaos of coming out of this comfort zone prison. And so there's just, like I said, there's this really like big energy of wanting to say thank you. I'm seeing two people hugging. Yeah, there's just this really sweet energy of them wanting you to know how grateful they are, to have met you, to have been through all the ups and downs of this connection. I feel like they just want to say thank you, and hope for the best here. They want to come forward and tell you how they feel as well. That they finally broke down their walls and they're emotionally available, and I feel like there's an energy of them just wanting you to see the new them, right? And yeah, so anything else for it? What's this person gonna do next? What's this person gonna do next? The Moon. Queen of Cups, and the Wheel of Fortune. I heard you're not going to see it coming. Yeah, I feel like in the Hierophant. So I feel like this is 100% divine timing, that, on the journey, there's going to be incredible lows, incredible highs, a lot of stagnancy sometimes, right? We kind of just have to keep moving through it and keep our, be optimistic, right? Not that it's easy by any means, but, that's just divine timing, right? We have to trust that Spirit has a plan for us. And I feel like that's what this is saying is, things have happened, things have gone wrong, things have gone right, it feels wrong, but it's just, detours, or there's a lesson that still needs to be learned or something like that, right? So there's just all of these little like avenues that we have to navigate here and there, but eventually, when each side does the work and each side stays high vibrational in their own energy, it's going to come back together, right? That's why the Wheel of Fortune is here. It's going to turn in your favor, and you are the example of living in your authenticity, of being emotionally available, of being someone who just lives from an unconditionally loving place, right? You are this person's guide to get into that place for themselves, and that's what's been going on, is they've been using you as a guide to find their heart space and stay in that heart space and be open in that heart space, right? And Spirit has been in the middle of this as well, guiding you both back together. So with the moon here, I feel like that's that divine timing, right? When the time is right, this will come together, and I feel like that's what Spirit is saying here with the Wheel of Fortune is, this is coming together. Stay optimistic, stay hopeful, and you guys are aligning here. So let's give you some oracles. Healthy choices, self-love and self-care, being happier, love, and life. Yeah, and see, that's the alignment, right? Individually, we have to make sure that we are staying high vibrational, that we are learning our lessons, that we are putting our time and effort into giving ourselves the love that we want to give to our divine counterpart, right? To be high vibrational is to love yourself, and that's one of the lessons that you have to learn, right? If you're constantly pouring into your divine counterpart instead of pouring into yourself, that's not going to be in alignment, right? You have to pour into yourself, and that gives that vibration out to your counterpart, and they pour into themselves, and you guys eventually align, right? As long as you both are making healthy choices on each side, then you're going to be in alignment, and it's going to come together, right? And I feel like that's what Spirit is just kind of confirming here, is that you both have been doing the work individually, and the wheel is turning in your favor. So I hope that resonated for you. I hope that brought you some clarity. Please like, subscribe, or comment below. I would love to hear from you, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.